everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I was gone for a really long time, but none of that even matters, the whole why or anything like that, so let's not even focus on that. I'm going to be redoing my breast reduction video. In my previous video I hadn't had my surgery done yet, so obviously I have a lot more information now as opposed to then, and people still message me about that video asking me if I had the surgery, what was it like, how to get approved, and all of that. So I thought the first video that I put up on my channel now should be a continuation of that. So obviously I had a breast reduction surgery because my breasts were really big. I'm a very small framed person. I wasn't like always like this small, but I was, you know, I've always been pretty small, and my chest up until my sophomore year, I was a really late bloomer. My chest up until my sophomore year was pretty flat. I remember stuffing my bra my freshman year in high school, so I didn't have any boobs, and like I remember praying like, please God, please let me get boobies. And then I want to say sophomore year, out of nowhere like that, I had huge boobs. I went to Kohl's maybe, and my sister had took me, Angel, if you're watching this, I love you. My sister had took me and I went to go get measured, and I remember being so self-conscious and so nervous, and she measured me at like, I don't know, like a 28 or something really small actually, and my boobs, she was like, you're like bigger than a triple D, honey, you'll have to get bras specially made. So fast forward, I was going to look into, because I was having a lot of back pain, I was looking into breast reduction surgeries when I was very, very young, but it wasn't even in my mind yet to be able to get one, so I didn't like do any research to figure out the steps of getting that. So fast forward, when I get I move out and I'm living in California with my wife. She's military, so I have TRICARE insurance, and we lived out in California, so we were covered by United Healthcare. I heard people going through like their PCM, like military, trying to get a breast reduction was like a nightmare, but mine was really, really simple. My PCM, her sister had a breast reduction, so she was super understanding. I didn't have to like go like jump through all of the hoops. And then I think once she like I took off like my shirt and she seen like my chest compared to my size, and I mean really she couldn't really be like, you don't need it. She wrote, like she put in to get me a referral to see a plastic surgeon. When I met him, I was completely comfortable in his office. If you are somebody who was considering a breast reduction, you're probably very self-conscious about your chest, like I was, and like taking off your shirt in front of somebody when you don't even really look at yourself naked in the mirror is very, very scary. But he made it very comfortable for me. His assistants made the whole process extremely comfortable, so I didn't feel like it wasn't, I mean, it was still uncomfortable, but it was definitely better than it, you know, could have been. He seen me, he took some pictures. I remember when the woman came in to like measure me and like see like the nipple to shoulder side, I mean like length. I can remember hearing the girls outside of the office, I mean outside the room, being like, she's so small, that poor girl. And I was just like, hopefully I get approved. Okay, so then with TRICARE, you can go online and check the status of your referral to see if you're approved or not. Some people say it takes them up like a few weeks to get approved. Mine took 2 days, and I was compulsively checking the website to see if it was approved, and it was. They got me in super quick. I want to say maybe 2 months and I was in, not even. Flash forward to surgery day. I had gotten a hotel in that area because we lived really far away from like the LA area, which is kind of where my surgeon was. He was in Pasadena, if you're from California, and we were more towards Lancaster, even further away than that, more like Rosamond. So I didn't want to have to get surgery and then drive 2 hours for 3 nights. And TRICARE will cover that cost if you go through all of the proper paperwork. I did, and they covered my gas and my hotel cost. So if you do have TRICARE, definitely look into that because they will pay for your stay. So then it's surgery day, and I'm so nervous. Oh my God, I'm like sick to my stomach. Just even like talking about it still makes me feel like nervous. It was so scary. We drive to the clinic, we sign in and everything, and she's like, okay, the doctor will be with you soon. I was so scared, I was so nervous. So my wife sat down next to me, and I feel like it wasn't that long at all, like until they like called me back. I want to say maybe like at most 15 minutes. And they were like, Amber? And I was, oh, bitch, I was horrified. She started like walking me back, this like nurse, and she was like, do you need to go to the restroom or anything? Because they were gonna get me in the bed and like get me undressed, and after that it was gonna be like from there straight to surgery. So I was like, no. And we like walked past the bathroom, and my stomach was like, we gotta go. So I was like, actually, I'm gonna run back to the bathroom. So I ran back to the bathroom. She waited for me, and I had horrible diarrhea. I'm gonna be real, I was so nervous. Horrible diarrhea. So then after that, we walk back, and they have me get undressed, and I get into the little nightgown, and they put some sort of like compression thing on my legs. If I remember correctly, it was to keep the blood circulating while I was in surgery to avoid blood clots. And I mean, it was just kind of me laying down. They were asking me had I had prior surgery, did I take any medication, because you're not supposed to take, I want to say maybe like Tylenol you're not supposed to take before surgery. And they were just asking me kind of questions like those. And then they're like, okay, the doctor will be with you shortly. So my doctor came out, and he measured me, and we talked about like nipple size, like breast size one more time. And I just wanted to be like, I want small nipples and small everything. But I was like, I just went with the discretion of my doctor. So he went in and he measured me, and he like had like a ruler almost, no, like a tape measure, and he was just like marking me and like where the incisions would go and everything. And that took really long. It was like 35 minutes that he was sitting in there. Like I get back in the bed, and then maybe 20 minutes after, the nurses come and they start to push me into the surgery room. I want to say an anesthesiologist was the person who was waiting back there. When I got in there, there was like the radio playing over the speakers in the surgery room, and I was like, what? And he was like, I know what you're thinking. The guy who's put me under, he was like, why is there music playing? He's like, it helps us stay focused. I was like, okay, cool. And then he inserted the needle, and I remember it being so uncomfortable, and I was like, excuse me, this hurts. And I was like lifting my hand, it was like, excuse me, this hurts really bad. And he was already ignoring me. Before I knew it, I was out. I had a really rough time waking up with my surgery. I know some people, I've heard stories of people waking up and being like, I was hungry, like, oh, I could like eat right then and there, I felt fine. I was fucked up. I could not eat anything, I could not drink anything. The first time I woke up, I don't even remember. My wife told me my doctor came in there, and oh, by the way, I was in surgery for 8 hours, so a really long time. And that may be why I felt so out of it and so sick. I know a lot of people who've had the breast reduction surgery are in surgery from like 2 to 4 hours. I was in for 8 hours. My wife told me that the doctor looked like he had ran a mile because he was sweating so bad after surgery. So he came out and he was talking to me and my wife, which I have no recollection of. She told me that the first thing I said when I woke up was, I have little titties now, because I was so excited. And he told her that surgery went fine, and I don't really remember. Like I said, I was out of it. So when I really woke up, what I can coherently remember, I was sitting in a wheelchair, and my wife was holding this like tub, like trying to catch like my puke. And she was like, I remember her making a joke saying that it was like a game of Tetris or something like that. Like she was just like trying to catch my vomit. I ended up being wheelchair to our car. We drove to the hotel. I was puking so much, throwing up this bright yellow into this like dark green color. And they sent me out with a little baggie, and I was just sitting in the car like so high, so uncomfortable, just like throwing up. I honestly don't, I felt like it was like daytime when we were driving, and then like I was saying, I remember driving back to the hotel and it already being dark outside, being nighttime. And I remember, oh, my wife told me that we were walking into the hotel and I had my bag full of puke, and I looked at her and I said, I have to puke. and then I just threw up on the ground instead of in my bag. And she was like, why would you do that? I didn't have time to get into the night of my surgery, girl. Like, it was, I went to the hospital, I called an ambulance because I told my wife. So I don't do well with drugs, like, at all. And I was at the hotel room freaking out. Told my wife, I was like, I can feel my heart stopping. And I was like saying goodbye to her. I was like, goodbye, like, this is it, like, I love you. And she was like, are you serious? And she was, bless her heart, she was freaking out. She was like, are you really dying? Like, what is happening? Should I call the ambulance? And I was like, if you love me, you'll call the police. I'm dying. And I just kept being like over dramatic, like, my heart is stopping. Like, I was going through it. I made her call my doctor, and as soon as he got on the phone, I was like wailing, like, I'm in so much pain. And he was like, she still should be pretty high. She shouldn't be in pain at all. He was like, give her a Valium, which is what they prescribed me. I'm pretty sure it was just my anxiety. So if you aren't crazy like me, I think you'll be fine. I ended up going to the hospital again. They gave me even more drugs, which is not what I wanted. And I don't know. The next 3 days were literally a blur. I don't remember anything. Going home, we didn't even stay at the hotel for the full time that we were supposed to. The drive home was a blur. The next few days was a blur. I just remember waking up on the third day and being like, the first thing I said was, I'm not high anymore, no more drugs. And my wife looked at me and said, you're back. She was so happy that I wasn't high anymore, because I was a handful. I heard I was a handful. After that, I want to say recovery was pretty smooth. I didn't have any... Oh, real quick, this is funny. The day after my surgery, I had a post-op appointment the next day, and I don't remember it at all. But the only thing I remember was I looked at my doctor the day after surgery, and I said, can I take these bandages off? And he looked at me like I was a madman, and he was like, no. And I looked at him and I was like, I knew you would say that. Anyways, recovery for me was pretty smooth. I didn't have any like problems healing. I didn't do anything like as far as like treatment for my scars. I tried to use the silicone straps, the silicone strips. That was not working out. I had really bad dry skin, and it just wouldn't stick. It would cling onto all of my dry skin and then fall off. And if you've seen the silicone strips for scars, they're expensive, like too expensive to just have them fall off every night. So I didn't end up keeping up with that. And I didn't lift. I tried not to do anything that would like stretch out my scars or like make them like really bad, because I mean, not that I care. If you're seriously concerned about scars, you are not ready to have the surgery. I did not care about anything, and even with everything that I went through, like the horrible night, like the horrible 3 days, I would do it over again every single time, because that's how bad I wanted it. I also do recommend, if you are like underage considering the surgery, please wait until you hit 20. My boobs didn't stop until I was like 20, so I'm so glad I didn't get it any sooner than when I got it, because they would have grew right back. And with that being said, I think that I covered everything. My wife made dinner and we just got done doing like a 2-mile hike, and I am starving. Until next time.